Have you ever trusted someone so much only to discover they were living a double life? Have you ever felt like you were losing your mind because someone you loved was manipulating reality? Today, I will share a personal and painful chapter of my life. It's a story of betrayal, gaslighting, and reclaiming my power. I never expected my marriage to end in such chaos. My husband and I seemed like the ideal couple, or so I thought. However, over time, things began to change. At first, everything was small. He would arrive home late, his explanations appeared rehearsed, and there was a constant sense of something being wrong. However, he made me feel paranoid whenever I questioned him as if I were the one with trust issues. "You're overreacting," he'd say. "You're just imagining things." The more I asked, the more he gaslighted me, making me question my sanity. It was a strange game, but he was winning. But then, one day, I discovered undeniable proof. Text messages, photos, the entire ugly truth is exposed. My world was shattered in an instant. The man I loved and trusted had been deceiving, betraying, and making me feel crazy for suspecting anything. That was when I decided I wouldn't be a victim anymore. I used every piece of evidence I had to ensure that his lies came back to haunt him. I knew his job was his pride and joy, and I ensured his superiors understood what kind of person they were dealing with. It was neither easy nor quick. However, as the walls of his professional life began to crumble, I filed for divorce. I walked away from the toxic relationship that had been draining me for so long. Rebuilding my life was difficult, but it was worthwhile. I discovered strength within myself that I had never known I possessed. I surrounded myself with supportive friends and family while focusing on healing and growth. To anyone out there who feels trapped in a lie-filled, manipulative relationship, remember this: you are not alone, and you are empowered to change your story. It will be difficult, but it is worth every effort to regain your life and sanity. Do not miss the heartbreaking ending to this story. Stay strong and take care of yourselves. Thank you for hearing my story. My husband gaslights me about his affair, so I ruin his career and divorce him. There are things you may believe will never happen to you. Still, after my experience with my husband, I realized you can never truly claim to know people as well as you think you do. I've heard many stories from women who have been cheated on, and I've always assumed it was because they failed to recognize the warning signs that they were with the wrong man. However, everyone believes they have the right man. That's what I thought too. I'm a 35-year-old woman married to a 34-year-old man for 7 years. We've never had any problems in our relationship other than the usual couple issues, and we were able to build a strong foundation of trust by telling each other about everything going on in our lives. If a guy approached me at the supermarket and asked for my phone number, I would give it to him. If a female friend was overly touchy with him, he'd tell me when he got home. Our arrangement has been going on for years and works well for us. The problem began when I put his clothes in the laundry and emptied his pockets. I discovered a receipt from a fairly upscale restaurant in our area. The order clearly stated that it was a dinner for 2. My husband had not told me anything about this, so my first thought was suspicion. But I knew there had to be an explanation. I confronted him with my findings, and he provided a reasonable explanation. My husband works in a corporate environment and always wears a suit. His job frequently requires him to entertain prospective clients. He said the receipt was from a client he met with for dinner to discuss business. He claimed it had slipped his mind when he arrived home, and because the transaction had not been completed, he forgot about it. He did not hesitate to explain, so I believed him. My only complaint was that we hadn't gone to that restaurant together, despite wanting to. I trusted my husband, so I never considered anything else about what happened. There was really no reason to, other than seeing the receipt. Things returned to normal quickly, and we hadn't had any problems for several months. However, things heated up about a month later when a friend called one evening and said she ran into my husband with a woman on his arm. She saw him across the street in a distant part of the city. I asked if she was sure it was him, and she said she had crossed the street and spoken with him. He let go of the woman when he saw her, but behaved normally. He did not appear flustered at all. She explained that her only regret was not asking. I didn't have enough energy for it. I let him go to bed and tried to relax my racing mind. The next morning I decided to take action. I quietly gathered additional evidence, checking his phone while he was in the shower for any indications of infidelity. And there it was, text messages between him and a woman named Sarah. They were explicit and left no room for interpretation. I was heartbroken and furious. I realized he had been lying to me for months, making me question my own sanity while having an affair. I knew I needed to confront him, but I also wanted to ensure he faced consequences beyond our personal relationship. I captured screenshots of his messages and sent them anonymously to his boss. My husband worked for a company with a strict policy against having affairs with co-workers, and Sarah was one of his colleagues. It wasn't long before he was summoned to HR, and his job was on the line. He was suspended pending an investigation. Meanwhile, I had filed for divorce. I couldn't stay in a marriage based on lies and manipulation. He eventually admitted everything when I confronted him with the evidence, but it was too late. The trust was shattered beyond repair. It was excruciatingly painful, but I eventually reclaimed my life. I want anyone in a similar situation to know they can get through it. I was aware that he would likely gaslight me again, making me feel as if I was losing my mind or simply being an emotional woman. Despite knowing he was in the shower, I went upstairs. His clothes were on the bed and his phone was beside them. I wanted to ensure I wasn't losing it, so I smelled his suit and shirt again. I was absolutely certain it wasn't his Tom Ford perfume. I went straight to his phone to check the gallery. There were pictures from that night, including one of him in a lounge with a young woman who appeared to be around 23 and cuddled up to him. There was even a photo of them kissing while she held the phone up for a selfie. I felt like I was about to explode. I took a video with my phone, swiping through all the photos. I was about to open his messaging app, but I heard him finish up in the bathroom, so I let it go. I wanted to confront him, but I needed to know more because I was afraid he'd come up with a stupid excuse for the kiss and I'd fall for it. I hated how much I wanted to believe him. He quickly fell asleep, so I took his phone and checked the messaging app. The first 2 messages were from coworkers, but the last one was from someone named Sabrina, whom I had never heard of before. I assumed she was the mystery girl, and I was correct. My eyes welled up with tears as I read through the messages. He told her he loved her, called me various names, and we talked about the nights they spent together. There were nudes exchanged, and I saw photos from the night they went to the restaurant, where I discovered the receipt. At that point, I felt like there was nothing left for me. I was completely broken. As I watched him sleep, I had some dark thoughts. After 7 years of marriage, I knew better, but thinking about the comments he made about me and my body, which they both laughed about, crushed my self-esteem. That's when I realized I needed to make sure he was badly hurt. I recorded the entire conversation, focusing on where he took her to restaurants, hotels, and shopping. I drank myself to sleep that night. The next morning, I tried to appear normal so he would not suspect anything. I don't think I did well, but he didn't notice. Once he left the house, I knew I had to find out who this woman was. I discovered Sabrina among his Facebook friends. It was the same expression I'd seen when kissing him. The real shocker was discovering they worked for the same company, and she was most likely one of his junior colleagues. Now I knew her name and had proof of their affair. I wanted to make sure they were both hurt. I was dissatisfied with his financial misconduct in using our marital funds for his affair. I received a favorable settlement, including a significant portion of our shared assets and alimony. In the months after my divorce, I found solace in reconnecting with my interests and hobbies. I relied heavily on my support network, including close friends and family, to help me regain my confidence and self-worth. Ironically, the experience, as painful as it was, gave me a renewed sense of purpose. I decided to share my story to help others who may be going through similar experiences. I started volunteering at organizations that help women in abusive or difficult relationships, providing advice and support based on my own experiences. My ex-husband's professional life suffered as a result of his indiscretions, according to word on the street. The company learned about his affair with Sabrina, which violated their policies, and he was eventually fired. Sabrina suffered professional consequences, and their relationship did not survive the fallout. Since then, I've moved on. and am much better off emotionally and mentally. I've learned the value of self-love and the strength of facing adversity. My story is one of betrayal and pain, but includes resilience and empowerment. While I would never wish what I went through on anyone, I am grateful for the lessons it taught me and its clarity. Did not like the fact that he and his affair partner appeared to be unconcerned about the entire situation. Our money was spent to fund his affair, which was another nail in the coffin. I received the house and a very generous alimony arrangement because I did not work, and he needed to support me from wherever he was. I didn't mind if he was with Sabrina, but I felt like I had won. I didn't care who got the cheating man. It just hurt that I'd loved him for so long, and this was how things ended. The story isn't nearly finished, but I did have one last piece of my plan. After the divorce was finalized, I contacted his workplace about allegations of a senior employee having an inappropriate relationship with someone younger than him. I sent all of my evidence, blurting out any explicit content. I was not going to allow myself to be charged with revenge pornography. It took a few days, but I received a response stating that the situation was being investigated because my claims were serious, as Sabrina was directly subordinate to my ex-husband. About 2 weeks later, I received 2 separate confirmations that my ex-husband had lost his job. The first was him calling me to curse me out and scream every expletive in the book. The second was an email from the company informing me that the investigation was complete and that appropriate action had been taken against my ex-husband. Reading that made me feel a sense of relief. I believe that brought things to a close. I don't consider myself to be evil or vindictive. Still, I believe that discovering that someone you loved and thought you could completely trust had no problem cheating or gaslighting you is enough to change a person. All I can say to the women out there is, beware. You can trust a man, but not too much, because I've learned that you never really know who someone is. The experience was a brutal lesson, but it also taught me strength and resilience I had never known I possessed. It was a journey of betrayal, heartbreak, and, finally, empowerment. I emerged stronger, wiser, and more confident, ready to face a future where I would never accept anything less than the respect and love I deserved. Congratulations on your keen detective skills and willingness to trust your instincts. Finding that incriminating receipt and catching a whiff of someone's mysterious perfume was the beginning of your descent into deception. Your husband's gaslighting attempts were straight out of the cheater's handbook, with him denying, deflecting, and downplaying everything. However, you weren't going to let him gaslight you into oblivion. No, sir. You sniffed the truth like a bloodhound on a scent trail, exposing a web of lies and deception. Sending screenshots of the steamy text messages to everyone on Sabrina's friend list? That's the kind of petty behavior I can't help but admire. And let's not forget the cherry on top, informing his employer about his extracurricular activities, which led to his epic downfall. Talk about a good dose of karma. Regarding your ex's reaction to losing his job, let's just say he got exactly what he deserved. You, my dear, emerged from this ordeal stronger, wiser, and with a large alimony bill. In the end, you did not just survive, you thrived. What would you have done? Have you ever had an incriminating scent? Please share your stories in the comments. In conclusion, this journey was a roller coaster of emotions, deception, and empowerment. Thanks to your unwavering determination, you discovered the truth, defended yourself, and took control of your destiny. Your story is a powerful reminder that trust must be earned, not given, and that no one deserves to be duped or betrayed. As you move forward, may your strength and resilience continue to inspire others who face similar challenges. Remember that you are not alone. There is always light at the end of the tunnel, even in the darkest moments. So to all those who have been betrayed or deceived, may this story be a beacon of hope, demonstrating that justice can prevail and that you, too, can rise from the ashes. Share your stories, encourage one another, and never underestimate the power of your voice. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Stay strong and vigilant, and remember to trust your instincts. Until next time, take care, and continue to fight for the truth. As we come to the end of this captivating journey, I'd like to express my heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you for joining us today. Your support and participation mean everything to me. I couldn't have asked for a better community to share this experience with. Before we parted ways, I had a small request. As I continue to share more stories, insights, and inspiration with you, I have a dream to reach 1,000 subscribers. However, to achieve that goal, I require your assistance. If you enjoyed today's video and want to see more like it in the future, please consider subscribing below. By subscribing, you will support me on my journey and help create a community where we can all learn, grow, and connect. Remember that every journey begins with a single step. Your support is the first step towards my goal. So let us embark on this journey together, one subscriber at a time. Thank you again for your support, and until next time, please take care, remain curious, and pursue your dreams.